So my name's Chris Stoudswell, and I run a mushroom supply business in the UK called MycoPunks. And this is a little bit about me. Myself and my brother Sam and my co-director, we first got involved with supporting refugees in 2016. We worked with Lighthouse in Lesvos in Greece, helping families and individuals fleeing war and persecution over the sea in Turkey. And it was a very eye-opening sort of period of our lives, and we've tried to our best, the best of our abilities, support refugees ever since. And we've also tried to integrate that into our business as well to make it so we can continue to support causes that we really care about. So a little bit about me. I worked in the tech industry since the age of 15. I started off as a website designer straight out of school, and I'd been working in the tech industry as a programmer and various different technology roles right up until my sort of mid 30s. In 2018, in 2012, I started a business with my best friend from school, and in 2018, we sold that business. So that business was a platform that lets students from universities reach out to graduates from universities to try and get their first job. So it was a pretty cool project, but it did leave me feeling very burned out. I think I worked a ridiculous amount of hours. I was permanently tired, and when I came out of that job, I very much wanted to find something new that wasn't involved in technology anymore. So 2018 is the business is sold, and I have some money for the first time in my life, but I have no purpose, which is a big sort of defining feature of where MycoPunks comes in. I think, one of the things that people try and define business success, normally around financial success, and actually, sometimes that isn't having a clear purpose and feeling like you have a project to get your teeth stuck into is as important as financial success. So just as I'd come out of that business, I'd just started getting interested in mushrooms. Don't ask me how. So during COVID, we were obviously locked down in the UK. We had a lot of time to look at new hobbies and spend time out in the woods away from other people. So I became more interested in nature and growing mushrooms specifically. And during my time trying to grow mushrooms at home during lockdown, I realized that it was very difficult to work out what pieces of equipment that I needed to grow mushrooms. And what eventually happened is after we came out of lockdown, I realized that it might be a good idea to try and bring together all the supplies that are needed to grow mushrooms for small businesses and for people at home, and create a website where you could buy everything you needed to grow mushrooms without worrying about whether you had the right equipment. So that was when MycoPunks was born, and that was in 2021. So this is a little bit about MycoPunks. There's our team up on the right hand corner, just in our most recent trip. Don't ask about the guy who's wearing the orangutan mask. That's yeah, it's like an ongoing joke with our team. So we started in 2021. We make products that help anyone grow mushrooms. So one of the sort of barriers to growing mushrooms is that you need to have a sterile environment to grow mushrooms. They grow on sterile substrates. So normally you'd need expensive equipment to make those sorts of products. So what MycoPunks focuses on is making products that let you grow mushrooms without the need for buying sterilization equipment or anything too expensive. It means that you can start growing mushrooms for around sort of £15 in the UK, which is pretty good going to start out with. We also work with businesses as well. So we do sell larger equipment and supplies to help food producers, people who are growing mushrooms for restaurants and to sell at markets. We work with businesses as well. And we also sell all of the sort of little, everything from books to we sell merchandise and all sorts of different things as well related to the study of mushrooms. So we have over 24,000 customers, and we send out over 1,000 orders every month. So we're a reasonable sized business, and it's the fastest growing business that I've been involved with. So it surprised us how quickly the business grew in the first year. I think we were hoping it would be a small business between just myself and my friend Anthony. I was hoping it would be an easy business that might eventually pay the rent. And within sort of 2 months, we were looking to hire our first employee. So it was very quick growing. So a little bit about the team. There's 10 of us. Uh, Myself and my brother Sam, we're the directors. The production team, Paolo, Joe, and Tyler. So they are responsible for making the initial stages of making our substrates. So they mix all the products together and they effectively create any product before it's been sterilized. The lab team, Anthony and Andreas, they sterilize the products and they ensure that when they arrive with the customer, that they're clean and ready to use. And then the packing team, Cav and Chloe, they send out our parcels, so they're responsible for making sure that everything arrives unbroken and undamaged. And then finally, Dan, who is the gentleman with the orangutan mask on, he writes our blog posts and product descriptions, and also helps us with creating documents and things like that for our company to for HR as well. So yeah, that's the team. So we're, considering we started in 2021, we're a reasonably big sized team now for such a short space of time. But we're a pretty good solid team, and I enjoy working with these people every day, which is quite important. So starting our business, we'll get into some of the what I think. I think some of the things that I value as a business owner might be slightly different and might not be aligned with other British businesses. Um, we try and um, we try and approach things with a more moral and more ethical viewpoint than most businesses, which are purely profit driven. That said, we do still want to, run this business as a business. It needs to be able to pay the bills and be able to pay our employees. So, like with any business, we need to work out what problem we are trying to solve for our customers. For us personally, um, there was nowhere to buy equipment and supplies for growing mushrooms. I had to build everything myself, or with my dad, who helped me build a lot of the equipment from scratch using parts that we had to source from all over the world. And it was very difficult. It was also, even when we had purchased items that we thought were a good purpose for growing mushrooms, they turned out not to be the correct items. So, as I said before, we tried to bring together all of those products and supplies and make an all-in-one place for those sorts of products for mushroom growers. And also, it's a big thing to, I said we didn't have the confidence when we were buying things that we were actually buying the right items. So again, it's not just having everything in one place, it's knowing that they're the right products that you need. Um, So other businesses in our industry were, when I would order supplies, they might arrive 2 to 3 weeks later. And when you're trying to run a business growing mushrooms, or you have restaurants maybe that are expecting mushrooms from you, the importance of having your supplies on time and quick as possible is really important. So one of our focuses was to try and deliver items very quickly. In some cases, we hope to get things out next day or even the same day. Also, customer support was very bad with other people in our industry. So we spent a lot of time making sure that we communicate very well with customers and kept them updated if there were any problems with their orders or if they had any questions about the products they were buying, we were always available. Um, so when you're starting out a business, it's important to know who your customers are and how many customers you might be able to get. So our market was home growers who want to grow their own food or grow their own medicinal mushrooms. So those are two big areas of the mushroom market for food and medicinal mushrooms like reishi or lion's mane. Another area of our business is just people who are interested in learning about and studying mushrooms. So there might be people who are interested in learning about mushrooms that they find in the wild, or they may be interested in different areas of science. So I've put in here the study of mushrooms is called mycology, which is where the myco in mycopunks comes from. And we also we deal with businesses who grow mushrooms at a larger scale. So that again is not the home user. That's people who are trying to sort of grow maybe 100 kilograms of mushrooms each week or even more. So the market size coming out of COVID, um, there was a huge sort of interest in people growing their own food. There was also people looking to use mushrooms medicinally to help out with any mental health issues that they may have had from being in lockdown during COVID. I think this was probably the bigger market for us was just people who had maybe reconnected with nature by being off work and being able to wander around the woods. They were becoming interested in hobbies that they wouldn't have time for when they were working full time. So getting your first customer, this is this I always think is the the first step. Obviously, is trying to work out how you're going to get your first customer. So we early days we didn't spend any money on advertising. There are a lot of things you can do for free that you should definitely do before you consider spending money on promoting your business. So if there's a community around your business, for us, there are a lot of mushroom growing forums. There are lots of people who are hobbyists and business owners that are communicating together inside of online groups. So we tried to be involved in those groups without trying to sell. I think it's important to remain genuine early on and not try to sell to people when you're just starting out. It can definitely be off-putting. So I think trying to help people is a good way to start. So eventually we asked we did some market research. So we told people we were starting a business, and I had a list of questions, and I would speak to customers to ask about their experiences as a mushroom grower, what sort of equipment they might need, what sort of supplies they currently needed, and some of the things that were difficult with their business. And through these conversations, we normally sort of build up a bit of a rapport with that person by the end of the conversation. And then I can ask them, look, would you be interested in us helping you out with some supplies after we're up and running? And lastly, I think being open about the people are interested in seeing how businesses are created and some of the behind the scenes for setting up a business. I think it's really good to document your journey from day one and be open and transparent with people so they can get an idea of what goes into to creating a business. And it's part of the reason I'm with you guys today is I think it's interesting to show your progress, let other people learn from your mistakes, hopefully. So our first year, like I said before, I was expecting the business to be a small lifestyle business with myself and my friend Anthony, and very quickly it became a real business. So our first year, when we were growing very quickly, I made myself available to anyone who had questions about using our products, anyone who had questions about growing mushrooms in general. And I had a lot of energy in my first year for really helping everyone out on a one-to-one basis. Obviously, that's not a very sustainable thing once you reach a certain size, but it's I think it's important really to have that level of care with your customers early on. We also gathered reviews from day one. It's really good for people to be able to see, that other people are enjoying your business and your services and your products. We have a phrase over here, social proof, which is what that is. It's just the proof that you have a good company to other people. And we were also really forgiving with customers who accidentally misused our products. I said before about our products being sterile products that were purpose built for mushroom growers. One of the downsides of sterile products is that they can be easily contaminated by the customer. So we gave everyone a safety net for replacing products for free that might have been misused.
На экран тоже не надо, ты испортишь экран. Нельзя.
Hello? So right, creating community. Now this is the thing that helped us scale our business after the first year. So in the first year, we grew at a rate that was arguably quite scary for us. I'd never worked in an industry before where we were selling products to customers, so it was a very quick paced environment. We ended our first year trading with 3,000 customers, so it was a lot of people for me to deal with one to one. So what we decided to do was to create an online community, and then we funneled all of our customers into the community, and we stopped giving one-to-one help with cultivation and growing, and we encouraged our customers to help each other. And to this day, I think it's one of our sort of best achievements is we wouldn't have had the resources to help everyone out individually, but now our customers are not only communicating with each other and feel like they're part of a really good community, they've also taken the stress away from us, and we don't have to help people on a one-to-one basis anymore, which with 3,000 people is not a sustainable business. And it's important, I think, with the creation of a community is that you have to be involved quite heavily still. So we're always in our groups, just chatting with customers, letting them know that we're still there and that it's not just them helping each other. And really, it did. I think if we look at how many customers we have now and how many orders we have each month, logistically, we wouldn't be able to help all the people that come through the website. And we do try and encourage and support other events as well, so that are not run by us. So other mushroom events and festivals and things like that are related to our business. We try and financially support them where we can, and also support people with products and bits like that. And this is a really important one, I think. So giving before you take, I think, it's very easy to think of a business as just selling to people. It's an interesting angle to try and provide some value to people before you ask, before you try and sell to them. And this doesn't have to be, you don't have to give them free products. What you can do is you can give people time, you can give them good information. And I think our community is something now that is seen as the most important part of our business. Without our community, I think our business wouldn't exist as it does now. So that's actually something that people think is the most valuable thing that we actually offer is the online community. Um, I said before, like our business, I like to think our business is slightly different to other UK businesses in that we try and lead with values rather than focus on just profit. So we have a different approach with staffing. We are a 4-day work week company, which means we effectively took our entire workforce that was working 5 days a week. We told them they could have a 3-day weekend and that their wages would stay the same and that they wouldn't lose any holiday. And we ran that as a trial for 3 months, and we've been doing it now for over a year. And it's been a brilliant thing for our business. It's the staff are much happier. There's everyone's more well rested. I'm a firm believer that work is something that we're forced to do. And I'd much prefer people to be able to spend time with their families and loved ones, or learning to play guitar, or doing whatever you want to do in your free time. I think free time and good pay are the only two things that that employees truly value, other than having a feeling like they're working for a good company is also a nice thing. We also provide private healthcare for our employees, so including dental treatment and things like that. So people don't have to worry about getting sick and having to wait for on an NHS waiting list. Um, we take our entire team away on holiday each year as well, which is a we need it. I know I said that the staff are very well rested, working only 4 days, but we do all work very hard, and it's a good chance for our team to reconnect and remember that we're all friends still. So this year we went to Tenerife, and that was all ten employees, and we spend the week just doing nothing at all and relaxing. And me as a director, I know that nothing is going wrong in the office because everyone's with me and the office is closed. So that's an important time for me to be able to fully disconnect as well, and take time to take stock of how well we're doing and how much fun we can have. Um, so we also, I said before about how we have different causes that we really care about. Um, we give a portion of the business income to support causes that we care about. Um, we give free materials. There's a project in a school in London that have a mushroom growing module for their students. So we support them with materials and supplies. And there's also various events all around the UK that are related to mushroom growing that we try and encourage and support through financial sponsorship where we can. And we normally do a raffle around the Christmas time to raise additional money for causes that we care about. And it's always been something that is core to what we're doing. I think it's important to try and integrate these sorts of values into your business from day one, and have it as be the sort of bedrock of your value system. I know a lot of businesses try to avoid being political, um, but we do use our social media accounts to highlight any things that we see as important in the world. And I think we will never stop doing that. I think it's an important part of who we are. Our staff are all very caring people who care about the same issues that we do. And I think when we have the reach that we do, it's a good idea. And I have added in here that that some people do avoid talking about contentious issues that they might refer to, but we don't care about upsetting the wrong sorts of customers. So, and I think that, that's important for us that we only work with people and we only have customers that are on the same page with us ethically. So, and that may be a luxury for a business of our size, but we are in a position these days to turn away customers who don't agree with us on certain issues. So, um, lastly, openness and collaboration. So, a lot of businesses, they may learn a technique or a method of making a product, and they want to keep that to themselves. I really don't believe in that as an industry norm. If we learn something new about making a product, we want to share that with everyone. Most of the things that we've learned have come from other people, and I think it's really important that we pass on that knowledge to other people. And even if they're competitors to us, I like to think that there's more to our business than just the products we create. So having this sort of information as an open source is a very important part of our business. We work a lot with artists and other businesses in our community. Um, I said about supporting different events. I think artists are a really important part uh, of the industry that we're in, and I think in a time when people can create graphics with artificial intelligence and chat GPT, we have made a point of continuing to work with and support artists and other people and other creative people in our community. And lastly, I think when I first started this business, I looked in our local area to see if there was any other businesses doing what we're doing. In most industries, I think you're likely to have some competitors. And I think that sometimes the focus on checking what they're doing and trying to see whether you think things are a good idea, I think you can end up looking very much like your competitors. You end up taking yourself away from your own vision and your own journey, and you may end up being exactly the same as the people you are trying to differentiate yourself from. So I think it's really important to be aware of other businesses, but remember that you're on your own journey and you have your own this is your idea and you should build it from your own knowledge and your own experiences. And that's it. So